All right, we got another charting session trade review. I traded really bad today. Super emotional trading. Can't keep happening. But we didn't increase sides. We didn't spiral. We did force a trade. But we didn't. You know what? We got lucky, right? We got lucky that we didn't get cooked today. So going into the morning. Yeah. News, sell-off. What do I expect? No trades. Also, when you look at the news that we had for today, we had red folder 8:30 CPI. Then we had some red folder at 9:45. Then we had some red folder at 10:30. 10:30 didn't really do much. And then we have red folder at 2 that hasn't come out yet. So I was looking at the news today and was like, you know what? I don't really know if today... I wasn't really sure today was going to give me any opportunity to trade. And I was kind of just waiting for market to tell me what it wanted to do. Overall, though, I was very bearish for this data low here that we made equal lows with. Keep in mind, ES did sweep these lows out, so we did have an SMT. But I was looking for price to rebalance into discount of this range. But if we remove the data highs, we actually did reach equilibrium perfectly. So I wasn't paying attention to that live. Maybe I should have. Regardless, market opened here, and then we completely chopped and consolidated. When you drop onto the 1 minute time frame, the first trade I should have taken was when we broke this 1 minute fair value gap. This blue box, it inversed fair value gap on the downside when we hit equilibrium. If you remove the data low and high, or the data high, and then we, grab these equal highs here, we remanipulated again, and we broke. So I should have jumped in here on this candle, targeting the equal lows. That was a really solid 50-point move. So that would have been a very great trade. We missed that move, and that's when my first mistake happened. And throughout here, there's really nothing you could trade. This inverse just didn't have good risk. I took it on demo, made about $200. I took it on demo just because it's a really big fair value gap. I think this was it was a 26-point fair value gap, so your stop is just crazy. It's not worth it. Improbable price, but it was solid. I anticipated price to go up there. But anyways, we missed this move, and this is when my emotions started getting frustrated. I knew that this probably was the spark to start coming down lower, even though we're having a little bit of a energetic move back up. But I knew we'd spark to come back lower because this was my draw on liquidity down here. So when I missed this entry and it instantly drops 50, 60 points, takes out the lows of one target that I could have been aiming for. Mentally, I was really frustrated because I was like, man, I was looking at that move setting up and I just didn't act on it for whatever reason. I was waiting for it to come a little higher into the equilibrium of the entire range. I was waiting for, who knows, a more obvious fair value gap, maybe an SMT. I was waiting for too much and I just missed it, which is fine. And notice when price is efficient that every 1 minute holds. This 1 minute fair value gap holds. This one holds, and it's not even a deep drawdown. When price is efficient, it goes, and it goes very quickly. So after missing that, price consolidated. Consolidated here. We then in turn make a 5 minute fair value gap here, which was important for a few reasons. 5 minute bearish. So when we formed that 5 minute, we formed it on this high here. So we tap in, we respect, but we never take this low. So I was anticipating that when we would take this high on NQ, that it would be like a turtle soup, which is just where a high gets taken out and somewhere you can expect price to react from. So I was expecting turtle soup. We then create SMT at this high as well. And I was thinking about jumping into shorts right when it took this, but I don't trade turtle soup, so I hesitated. And I probably shouldn't have taken it. Since I don't trade turtle soup, I probably shouldn't have taken that entry there, and it was fine that I missed it. But then at the time, we had a fair value gap that could have opened up here. That I was like, okay, if the fair value gap opens, then I'll inverse that. This candle runs all the way down and breaks here and then starts trading down here. And my idiotic brain was like, I'm going to miss the move. It's going to come all the way down here. And I jumped in like here. And I held and I held and I had massive risk for no reason. We come down up like $100, which again, being up doesn't matter. I move my stop to break even and it stops me out for break even. That was a terrible trade. That can't happen again. The idea here, SFT sweeping this turtle soup inside of fair value gap when you're expecting lower, not bad. But position myself here where my stop loss, even just to this high, is 20 something points, when if I got in here, my stop loss could be here for pretty much the same amount and have a proper trade that would still be playing out, even if I didn't move my stop at all. So this trade was really, really bad. And that comes from me being upset about missing this move. And that just can't happen. The next trade we take is when we come back up, sweep this high inside this fair value gap, take out this high as well. We had this accumulation, so I was thinking this could be like a like an AMD. Why can't I do that? I was expecting maybe, gosh, I can't click away. Okay. I was expecting this to maybe become the manipulation leg after this accumulation because I was still bearish. So we manipulated above the highs. We did close above the 5 minute. And that's why I was a little bit afraid. This 5 minute gets closed above. But the way in which it happened, I still was confident that price was going to go lower because we were in this 1 minute fair value gap. So I'm going to remove this 5 minute. We were in the 1 minute fair value gap and we created a 2 minute bullish fair value gap. When we broke here, I jumped in shorts. So I jumped in shorts and this was the trade that put me up on the day. I jumped in a short here, stop above the high because I'm still trying to figure out how I like to do my stop losses. And I made a few mistakes. I was going to target here, but we ended up panicking, taking off 2 of my micros. So I traded 5 micros. I took 2 off at 5 points, which is horrible, but I was terrified of the trade. And then I moved my stop to break even a little bit early, but then we ended up getting a push down and I took the rest off here. So I made $170 on the micros. My account is now up $500-ish, a little over 500 on the funded. And we escaped today with a really poor execution. If I would have taken them all off here, I wouldn't be upset. Or if I would have just taken off some of them and then got stopped out for break even, I'd rather that than, not holding to this target down here and then lower. So that was what I was frustrated with on that trade, but that's why I took it. It did play out, took the low. That's all you can ask for. Anything beyond that, you can expect, it either runs efficiently or it doesn't. And you never know when the move's going to happen. You never know when it's going to be like this. But if you take this setup, you hold because you don't know when it's going to hit. So into what I did wrong. Very obviously chasing price because of emotion, missing a big move, so being frustrated, trying to make money. Worried about money, not worried about the process. What did I do right? I identified this move, but I didn't chase a fair value gap here even though it would have worked. What did I do right here? I found a good setup, and I executed on it. What did I do wrong here? I got out way too early on the first 2 for no reason, out of fear, and the other contracts I didn't do bad, but because of the first mistake, I couldn't hold runners. And the runners wouldn't have worked, but not holding runners is worse. And right now, we actually just set up a very clean turtle soup, and that's what I'm trying to build conviction with, and trying to learn is really learn when turtle soups are gonna happen. This one is actually textbook and beautiful. Because look at where it's at. It's in a 1 minute for value. There's a 1 minute for value gap that hasn't been touched. Equal highs, sweep, inverse, beautiful. Let's see if we inverse on the 2 minute. We inverse on the 2 minute here. So honestly, this is a short, and this is zero motion short. So I'd be in shorts there. My stop would be here, and we we go break even here, and we target here, and we leave runners all the way to the lows. That's in a perfect world, because everything should be aligned now that we should at least get break even. But regardless, back to the trade review. The biggest thing I have to say, and the biggest thing I'm learning with the experience, is that you constantly have to be working on your emotions, because like today, it showed that I was still impulsive. That loss, I got lucky that I didn't lose everything on this trade. I got lucky, because this trade could have reversed and I lose 200, 300 bucks. I would have been down. Instead of being up 500, I would be down to the break-even point in the account, and that's just unacceptable to do on a mistake. If you lose a trade that you have conviction with, great. But I did not take a good win on this trade. I did not take a good loss. I didn't take a good win here. It was not a good trading day. But that's the thing you have to learn, is that your emotions are never perfect. You always have to work on your emotions. You can always do better. You can always focus on mistakes, because today I was making mistakes. I was letting my emotions play into hand, and I can't make decisions based on mistakes. I just can't let it happen anymore. And that's the biggest thing I have to take away from today, is we survived. We survived today, not doing the right things, and I can't let myself feel good, and I can't let myself get away with it. I have to reflect on it, because otherwise I'll keep making the same mistakes, and that can't happen. The way I'm understanding market and the structure and price is getting so much better. So much better. Equal highs gets manipulated, breaks below. I'm expecting this. Expecting this SMT, which we get. Expecting this reversal here, which we get. Noticing soup with the inverse, which we get. Like, my price understanding is getting really good, and I don't even know, all the concepts of ICT. I just know the ones that work for me, and that's all you need to. You just need to find something and understand it and get better, and that's what I'm doing. We also even hold this inverse, even more confluence there, but every day I'm getting better, and there's a reason why I'm not profitable yet, is because I can't keep my emotions 100% of the time, but that's something I'm getting better at and working on. Today was a little blip, but I was never going to let myself spiral. I need to learn how to take loss on the chin, because if today did go bad for my own doing, or even if I took a good trade and it went bad, I need to learn how to take a loss on the chin and keep moving, because in this game you'll never succeed if you can't take a loss and if you can't manage your emotions. So I have to say this again, just understand that trading is going to be frustrating. You're going to miss a move and you're going to try and force something, and it's just not always going to go your way. And that's fine. That's part of the game. I'd say like the biggest point I'm trying to make is because I'm always like thinking about the title of this trading reviews. I'm trying to think of what I'm titling this. It'll probably be chasing trades or something. Talking about chasing injuries, or just, executing bad. FOMO. That's what we're going to talk about. FOMO. Because in all aspects, I had the fear of missing out of this trade. I had the fear of missing out on this trade. And then when I got in this trade, I had the fear of missing out on profits. So I got out quick. So FOMO can't happen. Emotions can't happen in trading. And yeah, so this trade is playing out, and we'll see how it goes the rest of the day. But I'm done trading, and yeah, that's the video.